Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Pacific Division as we conclude our mini-series. Make sure to check out our other videos. We went over my predictions for each and every one of the NHL divisions this year. The Metro, Atlantic, Central, now finishing up with the Pacific. So let me know what you guys think. So let's start off at number 8. Let's get right into it. The San Jose Sharks, I think, will finish at the bottom of the standings this year. And my biggest concern for San Jose is you look at this division, it's becoming a pretty good division for goaltending. And I think that's one of San Jose's weaknesses because I don't know what they have with James Reimer and what's the other goalie? Aiden Hill. Because they've got to trade one of those guys, right? Probably. Because you're expecting to see Capo Kakinen play. I think that's who they really like there. But the question is, will they be able to move one or two of the other guys? So San Jose just is kind of all over the place for me. I don't know what Mike Greer, their GM, is thinking right now. There's just a lot of things that San Jose kind of has to figure out. This is going to be kind of a feeling out season. I think we could see a little bit of William Eklund, which is really exciting, and some more of the younger guys on the team. I think San Jose, it's going to be a development year once again, and it sucks to say that, but I think this is going to be a tough year in the Pacific for San Jose. Number 7, the Seattle Kraken. So the Seattle Kraken move up this year, and I think Seattle's goaltending it has to be better, right? Grubauer and Drieger were terrible last season. They got a new goalie coach after year 1, so we'll see how things go. Dave Haxtell kind of said, listen, as much as we want to blame the goalies, we need to hold the defense a little bit accountable. And they did make some changes this summer. They did bring in some guys here and there like Justin Schultz. They added some scoring depth, which is huge, like guys like Andrei Burakovsky. I think they did really well in free agency this year. They also brought in Oliver Bjorkstrand, one of the better underrated players in the league. He goes over to Seattle for a very cheap price. Great job by Ron Francis. I think Seattle will be better. I just don't know if they're good enough in this division because I think this year we're going to look at the Pacific a lot different than we have over the past 4 or 5 seasons. This is a legit division, and I think that unfortunately for Seattle, they're in this division at the wrong time, and I think they're going to have some issues this year. Number 6, the Anaheim Ducks. This is disappointing. I want to see the Ducks back in the playoffs, right? But I do not think this is the year. Again, similar to the other 2 teams I already mentioned today, I think the Ducks are continuing the rebuild. Yes, they did sign John Klingberg on a 1-year deal. They'll hopefully get a first-round pick for him at the trade deadline and continue to the development of their younger players. I'm really excited to see Mason McTavish. This kid looks so good, and I think he's going to be one of the guys that's probably an early favorite for Rookie of the Year for the Calder Trophy next season. So the Anaheim Ducks have him. They also added a bunch of former Ranger guys, Ryan Strome, Frank Vetrano, and this is kind of a year where I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with Lucas Dostal in Anaheim. Does he maybe get some starts next year? He's been developing in San Diego for a couple years. It depends, I guess, on what happens with I think it's Alex Lyon, or who's the Ducks backup. You guys will let me know. I'm not sure if he's still there, but I would like to see Lucas Dostal get some starts. So we'll see what happens there. Number 5, and this one's going to piss off the Sin City, but that's the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights are a playoff team in 2023, and the reason for that is I think they've done, and I have to do a video on this, they have done damage beyond repair, and I think that their perception of the Island of Misfits and the Sin City and this and that, and it's a fun place to go, free agents are going to be attracted to that. That's no longer the case. The way that the management and the staff is very cutthroat has led to a kind of a very dark look at the Vegas Golden Knights, and I don't think people want to go there. It's hard. Again, I think that the expectations are set to a point where if you do not win a Stanley Cup, everybody's on the table. You look at what that expansion team was back in 2018, completely nuked of that, and that was fan favorite players back then. Nope, gone. See you later. See you later. See you later. And this is kind of where Vegas is. They're known as a cutthroat organization that's they're willing to trade, veteran players like Marc-Andre Fleury and Max Pacioretty for literally nothing. So I'd like to say some positive things about Vegas. They've got the good pieces there: Eichel, Strome, Pietrangelo, Theodore. I like Robin Leonard, one of my favorite players. But there's too much stink there, and I think they're going to see another effect of that this year. I do think they missed the postseason. Number 4. So now we get to the playoffs, and this is the playoff hopeful team, right? Obviously, you're hoping that Vegas does not get in, but I think Vancouver is the team that gets in there. So Canucks fans will get some playoff hockey. I really like Thatcher Demko. I think he's a very underrated goalie outside of Vancouver. Nobody really talked about him that much, but I think he's very good. And I think that if this blue line gets a little bit better for the Canucks, I think they're going to be a threat. They've got some guys coming up, hopefully this season, that you want to see playing some meaningful NHL games, guys coming over from Russia like Podkolzin. Like I said, the redevelopment of the blue line, very exciting there. And I think we're going to see more changes. They added Ilya Mikheyev. They brought back Luke Shen, who I think is very underrated. That's a good guy to bring back. So we'll see what happens. Niels Höglander, is he going to play? Brady Keeper? Are some of those guys going to play? We still don't know. But I think the Canucks are in the trajectory of making the postseason because I like their goaltending, and I think that their new coaching staff under Bruce Boudreau, I think it gets them back to the offs in 2023. Number 3. The Calgary Flames. So I think Calgary gets back to the playoffs. For as much criticism as they have taken, including from myself, they give themselves another chance here. They missed out on Tkachuk. Gaudreau didn't want to sign with them. So they need guys that want to be there. And they're going to find out pretty quick. Mackenzie Weegar and Huberdeau, a year away from UFA status with all the stink around the Flames here, is that an issue? But at this point, you look at their roster. You look at Jacob Markstrom, how good of a goalie he was other than that second round series. The Calgary Flames are going to be a threat to be messing with here in 2023. I don't have them winning the division again. Shout out, they did put the banner up in Scotiabank Saddledome that they did win the division. Nobody really talked about that because, they kind of got their ass kicked by the Oilers in the second round. Now to remind you of that, but that did happen. I think they're going to come back with a little bit of vengeance here in 2023. I hope that losing Tkachuk doesn't hurt the rivalry in the Battle of Alberta, but I wonder the lasting effects on that. But as of this season, Calgary still has a very good team. Number 2, the Los Angeles Kings. So the Los Angeles Kings have just secretly been doing all the right things. And I think that the Kings are one of those teams that's been kind of just waiting in the weeds for their chance to pounce, right? Now we're seeing Vegas kind of on the decline. Anaheim missing the playoffs. San Jose kind of falling off. And now we're seeing that team like the LA Kings, who's been rebuilding for a couple years. I think that they're ready to get things to the next level. You look at some of the guys they've added. Kevin Fiala, huge addition. He is going to be the scoring guy for this team. Great pickup. I can't wait to see him over in LA next season. Glad he's no longer on the East Coast. We're going to see guys like Quentin Byfield continue to develop. I'm really excited for him. Another year of guys like Arthur Kaliev, Carl Grunstrom, Rasmus Kupari. Lias Andersson is fighting for his NHL life. Can he become a top 6 center or at the very least a third-line player? We're going to find out some of those things up front. Don't forget guys like Gabe Vilardi. Their blue line, a lot of young guys. Matt Waugh has been so good for them. I hope he continues to develop. I think it's Matt Roy, right? Is it Matt Roy? Tobias Bjornfot, Jordan Spence, Mikey Anderson, Sean Dursey. I think LA looks pretty good next year. I'm really excited to see what they do. Cal Peterson and Jonathan Quick are great in between the pipes. I think the Kings are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't think they're ready to win the division quite yet, but they are going to be a threat. The depth that they have up front is going to be huge. But the question is goaltending and defense. As good as I think they are on paper, they need to prove that again this year, and I think they will be able to do that. And of course, winning the Pacific Division in 2023, is the Edmonton Oilers. I think the Oilers are right there. They are the team to beat in the Pacific next year. Evander Kane returns. They bring in a guy like Jack Campbell in between the pipes. That has been the glaring issue for this team for years and years, and they have their guy. So no more Mike Smith, no more Mikko Koskinen. Now, the one concern I do have is Jack Campbell is going to see something similar to what he dealt with in Toronto, because he is the number one guy and is probably going to play 50 plus games, because I don't know what they think of Stuart Skinner. And I think that's where the concern is. If Jack Campbell gets hurt, things could go sideways very quickly in Edmonton. But you look at the guys they've got up front. Kane he comes back. Obviously McDavid and Draisaitl, the two-headed monster in the NHL. No discredit here to Malkin and Crosby, but they are the top two players in the league. One of the best dynamo in the National Hockey League right now. You look at guys coming back like Puljujarvi. Hopefully they re-sign Yamamoto. The blue line, we're going to see some youngins coming into there. Guys like Dmitry Samorukov coming in, hopefully. Philip Broberg. I'm really excited to see what the Oilers do. This is a big season for Ken Holland, and I think that the Oilers get things done. I think they win the Pacific Division. So, guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Who do you think is going to take home the Pac-12? Who do you guys think is going to take home the Pacific Division in 2023? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.